Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside of today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the most underrated and overrated brawlers within the Brawl Stars meta right now. So before we jump into the video, make sure you're using a creator code. That'd be greatly appreciated. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. Alright guys, so jumping into the first underrated brawler, we have Grom. So it's not really the best scenario to show him in because he's up against 3 aggro brawlers and there's some of his biggest weaknesses, but I feel like even myself included did underrate Grom a little bit just because he's the type of brawler that is high risk, high rewards, so you won't really see him across multiple game modes. But I feel like in the right setting as a last pick, Grom can definitely be a good option, especially if you're looking to counter a couple of the lanes. He can be pretty good because you can deal up to like 2.1k damage with just one shot, and that is without the damage gear activated. He's pretty decent at finishing off kills as well with his super. I feel like he would be pretty broken if his super actually took a little bit less time to charge up, which I feel like they're definitely a little bit apprehensive to of course buff that. So yeah, Grom I feel like it's a little bit underrated by myself. So just quickly as well, one thing to note, like for my future, I think just next 2 videos, so this one and next one, not going to be like complete the most wild videos, just because right now, if you guys aren't aware, you know, it's probably just normal for a lot of you people, but in the UK there's a massive heat wave and it's literally like 35 degrees in my room right now, and it's like an oven, so I can't really spend too much time recording, so most of the videos are going to be pretty quick in the next few days. But anyways, jumping back into this sense, so you can also let me know what type of videos you want to see from me. I've got a couple of good video ideas, especially in the form of guides, so I look forward to that one. So yeah, Grom going to be the first underrated brawler. Let's hop into number 2. Alright guys, so jumping into the second most underrated brawler within the meta right now, we have Colette. So Colette, of course, has risen in the rankings just literally because of Carl, how strong he is. Other brawlers that counter him are going to get obviously an increase in how good they are in the meta. So Colette has definitely saw a big increase in usage in the meta. So it's really weird. So as I said, I've noticed whilst watching qualifiers this weekend, just watching as much competitive as possible, there's so many different strategies with draft, you know, it's so complex. But the one thing that I've noticed a lot, so maybe like say for example if the enemies don't ban a call, I've seen quite a lot of strategies where people don't actually first pick call because they're scared of getting double counted. So what it leaves open is for basically the team that has second pick. So of course the first pick, say if they don't pick a call, and then for you have the second and third pick. What a lot of people have been doing is getting that Colette. So by that I mean like picking Cole themselves and then picking Colette, because Colette is by far the hardest counter to Cole. So if you take that away from the enemy and then pick Cole yourself, it's pretty hard for the enemies to really full counter Cole. So that's a good strategy right there. Colette of course really good in heist, and just overall at countering those tanks, not really been seen too much, but just bringing out Colette alone is probably enough to deal with tanks. And her gadget is really strong. It's got to be one of the most one of the best gadgets in the game, but also really underrated because people don't really talk about it enough. But yeah, Colette definitely getting some stonks in the meta. Let's hop into the next one. Okay guys, and lastly for the brawlers that are really underrated in this meta, we have Fang. So Fang is incredibly underrated. I'd say he's a really strong brawler right now, not obviously OP because he does have his counters, but if you play Fang correctly and especially against the right matchup, you're going to be popping off with Fang. So the best game mode by far for Fang has to be Knockout. You see Fang used a lot in Knockout, especially if the enemy team are running multiple squishy brawlers. So the likes of like Piper, really popular in Knockout, Belle, Rico, all of these low HP brawlers, Fang's going to be really strong against, because once he gets his super, he can most of the time, especially if you land right on top of them, he can land right on top of them and just shoot once and take them down pretty easily. If they are a little bit harder to take down, you've got his stun mechanic as well. He's pretty strong in Knockout, especially heist. He can be pretty good as a last pick. But again, with Fang, you kind of got to realize, well, look at the brawlers that he can essentially 2 shots. So you don't really want to be drafting Fang early on as well, because he is a tank, so you don't really want to be risking using him so early on. But as you can see, Fang definitely still has that pop-off potential. He's pretty decent against Carl as well because he has that stun mechanics, so he's going to get even stronger. He's strong on heist, he's strong on knockout, and he's strong across multiple other modes as well. So as a last pick, make sure you're trying him out. So that's going to be the most underrated brawlers. Let's hop into the most overrated. Alright guys, so jumping into the most overrated brawler right now, for me it has to be Eve. So Eve right now, I wouldn't really pick her anywhere. I'd say she's overall like an okay brawler. She's not like completely unusable, but in terms of how much, well, how strong she was in the meta previously, she really has fallen off. I don't really see much usage for her in the meta. You know, there's a few times you can use her, you know, like on the maps with a lot of water. You might still get a little bit of value with her, but I just think overall there's so many better options right now, and because of her star power getting nerfed, essentially that's really going to hurt her. So the main reason it is hurt her, because normally after every single last egg, a hatchling would spawn, and of course that makes the enemy get less ammo because they have to spend 1 ammo actually taking that down. It's essentially made Eve even worse, because whilst they're kind of using their ammo up, she's rebuilding her ammo up, and it's not as noticeable with her slow reload speed. Like, if you guys didn't realize, she has I think she has the lowest reload speed in the game, or one of the lowest, so you didn't really notice that so much, because again, because the star power was so broken, it gave you time to reload and make sure you can conserve your ammo. But trust me, it is so noticeable right now, and it's really hard to take people down consistently, because Eve's just really bad. So let me know if you completely disagree with this, because of course, you know, I might be a little bit wrong. Like, some pros are still using it, but whenever I've watched it in competitive, it hasn't really got the best win rate at all. So that is why I don't really see a point for it right now. So yeah, also as well with Eve, like on long range maps, her normal attack is just so easy to dodge. Like, already in East Asia, like when Eve was like the best brawler in the game, they weren't banning her out, because they could just simply dodge her with their insane mechanics, or just use Max to kind of counter her slow shot speed. There's multiple ways to actually, I was going to say to nerf Eve, but to actually counter Eve in this meta. So yeah, I think I've spoken enough about how weak she is right now, so we should be able to throw the super down right here. We're getting close. Well, they're getting close to scoring and equalizing. Looks like Primo has somehow messed that up, but Max can actually clear that away. So we've got a bit of a lifeline right there. That is a big rip. I actually absolutely hate it when my fellow teammates do that. Most of the time they actually do it, it's always a Mortis, but Primo, he's joining in on the fun, so that should be the game right there. Eve has to be the most overrated brawler. Let's hop into another. Okay guys, so jumping into another overrated brawler within the meta right now. You probably guessed it already. It has to be Spike for me. So I did suggest on a previous video, you know, he's one of the top brawlers to max out right now. That in no way is kind of showing like how strong he is in the meta. That was mainly because I see basically all of the time everyone max out Spike, because it's a pretty easy brawler to use, right? In the lower end of trophies, it can be pretty difficult to, well, it is hard to find people that know how to dodge curveball. So it's going to be really good across basically everywhere except for like Legendary League. And so in the higher end of meta, you know, Spike isn't used the most. There are ways around, well, people that can counter curveball. There are ways around to still hit them, but still just feel like he's one of those brawlers that's just always like a first pick, especially so much whenever I'm playing like Club League, for example. Whenever I face anyone there, literally the enemy team just insta-lock a power 11 Spike, and I just feel like there's a lot better options in the meta. You know, Spike can get countered pretty easily, so just feel like there's a lot of the choices that you can pick. So that's going to be another overrated brawler. Let's hop into the final one. All right guys, so jumping into the final overrated brawler, we have Leon. So Leon, as of right now, is fairly decent in the meta. So this is more of a prediction. So if you've watched my previous video on the vision gear and what I think about it, so basically I'm kind of predicting the meta here. So as people finally kind of adjust, switch to the vision gear, use it more often, I feel like Leon is just going to be terrible, right? So I'm kind of skeptical about this, because it's really harsh on brawlers like Sandy and Leon. I know the invisibility trait is really OP in its essence, because of course you don't know where they are at all times. There are counters to it, but vision gear just completely hard counters it, and only 2 brawlers have that kind of trait. So it is a big kind of slap in the face to those brawlers, because their biggest unique ability just gets completely countered by brawlers like especially like Jean, you know, with the vision gear completely counters them. There's so many other brawlers as well, like Pam, who can spray easily. Same with Lola. They're going to be able to scout them so easily, and their supers are just going to be completely invulnerable, like just so bad. So yeah, I can see Leon definitely falling off in the meta within the next month or so. As of right now, I would still probably use them, because I don't think people have the resources to, you know, mass level up their brawlers with vision gear. You know, me myself, I haven't either. So for now, I'd say Leon is a fairly decent pick. You can pick him across multiple game modes, but I would say in the future just be careful, because people will be slowly switching to that vision gear. And the big thing about vision gear as well is that you can't tell whether the enemy is actually using the vision gear, which again, I hope that changes in the future, you know, like showing when Tara pops that vision gadget. Hopefully it shows something like that, so you know you're like under the attack of vision. But you get what I mean there. So yeah, that's going to be it for today's video, guys. As I said, let me know down in the comment section below what you want to see in future videos. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.